Today, we are going to unpack the absolute compounding power of financial consistency. We constantly hear these wild stories of overnight crypto millionaires or lucky lottery winners. But the reality of actually building wealth, it's usually much quieter and, honestly, a whole lot more predictable. We're going to reveal the single foundational behavior that separates the people who steadily build wealth over their lifetime from those who just stay perpetually stuck in a cycle of financial stress. So think about this. What if true wealth actually comes from just one incredibly boring habit? Today, we are going to completely shatter the myth that financial freedom requires a lucky break, perfect market timing, or some massive sudden promotion at work. Most people really do think wealth comes from one big dramatic moment. But in reality, wealth is almost always the result of small decisions repeated over and over again. We're going to look at what actually works and how one unglamorous habit, repeated long enough, is the true secret to all of this. All right, let's dive right in with Section 1, the big money myth. This is all about intensity versus consistency. See, most people mistakenly try to build wealth through these totally exhausting cycles. You probably know someone who does this, right? Heck, maybe you've done it. You earn some cash, spend it all, panic, restrict your spending completely, and then just reset and repeat the whole thing. It really illustrates what happens when you rely on temporary bursts of intense motivation that inevitably fade, instead of embracing the unglamorous but permanent power of consistency. Think of it kind of like buying a gym membership on January 1st and going every single day for 2 weeks, only to literally never return. Intensity feels incredibly powerful in the moment for sure, but it's almost always temporary. Consistency? Well, it's far less exciting on day one, but it actually lasts. There is a great saying that goes, "Wealth likes repetition." It grows from actions that are simple enough to continue even when motivation is low. The crucial point here is that a person who repeatedly saves just a little bit of money always ends up in a much stronger position than someone who constantly starts, stops, and resets. The absolute most useful money habit is definitely not the most dramatic one. It's simply the one you can actually keep doing, month after month, year after year. Moving right along to Section 2, Systems over Intensity. Let's talk about automated wealth. So how exactly do we get from individual, somewhat boring actions into an unstoppable, automated financial machine? One tiny deposit or one small spending cut might not feel life-changing on its own. It is so easy to look at a $20 transfer to your savings account and think, honestly, what's the point? But when repeated over time, those small actions transform into a highly effective system. Motivation is a finite resource. It runs out. But a system runs on autopilot. Think about it like this. A system completely removes the need to make exhausting daily choices from scratch. If saving is set to automatic, you aren't relying on pure willpower every single month. If investing happens on a strict schedule, you don't need to guess what the stock market is doing today. If your spending rules are clearly defined up front, you don't need to constantly negotiate with yourself in the store aisle. Over the years, these systems will beat emotional effort every single time, allowing your money to run on solid structure rather than your fluctuating moods. Which brings us to Section 3, the perfection trap. Why waiting for the ideal moment is a mistake. Now, to actually build these robust systems, we've got to overcome a massive psychological hurdle, and that is the desire for perfect conditions. A lot of people delay good money habits because they are basically waiting for the stars to perfectly align. They want to start saving when their income magically rises. They want to invest only when the market looks completely safe. They want to budget when life just naturally becomes a bit easier. They want to get serious when they finally feel ready. But the harsh reality is that the perfect time rarely, if ever, arrives. Life is inherently unpredictable, and the longer you wait, the more time and compounding interest you're losing out on. So here is the crucial takeaway. You absolutely do not need perfect conditions or a perfect life to begin building wealth. You simply need a resilient pattern. Consistency literally means starting before everything feels ideal. It means showing up with exactly what you have right now, exactly where you are, and doing the right thing again and again. Many of the most successful financial lives aren't built by extraordinary lightning strike moments. They are built by completely ordinary actions done repeatedly.
especially during uncertain times.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 4, changing your money identity. Let's look at how repetition shapes you.
If you consistently act like a consumer, or if you constantly spend impulsively without any kind of plan, your brain actually internalizes that behavior. Over time, it literally becomes your identity. You start to genuinely believe, well, I'm just someone who struggles with money. People often think habits are just physical actions, right? But habits also profoundly shape our entire self-image. But the very moment you start paying yourself first, even if it's just a tiny amount set aside automatically every payday, you begin to rewrite that internal self-image. You start to see yourself not as a victim of your finances, but as someone who actively protects their money. You step right into the driver's seat.
Because repetition doesn't just bump up your bank balance over time, it completely rewires your identity to think and act like a builder. The more you repeat a financial behavior, the more it becomes part of who you fundamentally are. A person who consistently acts like a builder starts to actually think like a builder. And once your identity changes at that core level, the way you effortlessly handle money completely changes too.
Okay, Section 5. Winning in a noisy world. This is your modern defense.
This new builder identity we just talked about, that is your ultimate armor. Because let's be real, we live in an environment specifically designed to distract you. Consistency is harder today than it has ever been. Distractions are literally everywhere. Subscriptions renew automatically without us even noticing. Frictionless delivery apps make spending dangerously easy. Just one tap and it's at your door. Social media constantly encourages impulse choices. We are bombarded with content all day telling us to buy, upgrade, and compare our lives to everyone else. The modern environment is aggressively built to keep you consuming.
But here is what's so interesting. This old-school, boring money wisdom of steady discipline is actually your absolute greatest modern advantage against these relentless traps. Families that became financially stable over time rarely relied on one lucky break. They relied on steady saving and repeated discipline. The tools might be digital now, but that basic rule hasn't changed one bit. Consistency is the ultimate defense mechanism. It's exactly how you stay clear and focused inside a noisy world that is actively trying to drain your resources.
Let's get really practical now with Section 6, the Consistency Playbook.
Let's dive into exactly how you can implement this stuff into your life without burning out. The core principle is super simple. The habit is way more important than the amount. If you feel like you just don't earn enough to save right now, please remember that establishing the habit has to come first. The amount can and definitely will grow later. Even a tiny amount handled consistently builds crucial discipline and momentum. Don't wait until you have enough to begin, because the habit of consistency often naturally creates the very financial growth you're waiting for. It reveals hidden spending leaks and expands what you realize is actually possible.
Now, please do not try to change everything in your life at once. That's just falling right back into the intensity trap. Just follow these really straightforward steps and focus purely on what you can easily repeat. Number 1, save a fixed amount every single month automatically. Number 2, invest on a schedule, completely ignoring how you feel about the market that particular day. Number 3, review your spending just once a week to stay aware. And number 4, keep one strict rule that protects your future, like maybe a mandatory 24-hour waiting period on any non-essential purchases.
Always keep this in mind. The goal is not a perfect money life. The goal is a repeatable one. Ultimately, building wealth is way less about one huge, stressful move that you have to time perfectly, and far more about the simple decision to just keep doing the right thing across thousands of ordinary days. That right there is the true money habit that changes everything. So as you start building these consistent habits and your income inevitably begins to grow, a brand new danger pops up. Think about this. Will your next raise actually build freedom, or is it just going to create a brand new trap? In our next explainer, we are going to explore exactly how lifestyle inflation quietly destroys financial progress, and more importantly, how you can protect yourself from it. Keep building those systems, stay incredibly consistent, and I will see you in the next explainer.